Hello. So I'm Maxim Jago. I came to Sundance this year to give a talk at Sundance House, and I gave a talk about the way that film is an excellent medium for communicating understanding rather than just communicating knowledge. So I wanted to talk about the way that film recreates experience for the audience, and how, unlike life, where we never fully know why, when you make a film, you always know why. Everything happens. So it gives you this ability to create the meaning in the story. Well, when I was 11 years old, my mother's partner at the time, my mother's boyfriend, stopped me for no reason at all and said, "You don't like being told what to do and you won't want to work in an office, so I think you'd better be a film director." I think I was 12 years old. And I said, "Okay, can I go out and play?" And he said yes, and that was the last I thought about it. I think, though, that each film you make, I've worked on 60 productions, I've directed 40, over 40. And everything you make, you learn something, you learn something else. But I think, for me, the ones that have been the most successful have been the simplest. And I remember at film school, they used to say this acronym KISS, keep it simple, stupid. And I remember being annoyed by that and thinking how these older filmmakers were being really smug. And actually they were right. I think that the greatest films are the most naive ones, in the old sense of the word, in the sense of it being an aspirational quality. A naive film reaches people, the child in the audience, and that's the truest self that we have. The truth is that they say it's important for you to find your happy place, You've got to, well, first of all, you need to find out what you love and do that, because that's the secret of life. And you'll always make money from it. I've found that everybody I've ever met wakes up in the morning and they do stuff and then they go to bed again. And they always seem to eat, because if they don't, they die. So one way or another, you will sustain yourself. And I think that people spend too much time worrying about doing what they think other people think they should do. As a psychologist friend of mine said a long time ago, most of our problems are caused by people or our perceptions of people. And we should really just chill out and be ourselves. For me, my happiest moments, my most fulfilling moments, are ones where I'm in my happy place, which is a cafe, preferably a Parisian-style cafe, with good coffee, maybe a cake, and company. And for me, those moments where you have a really authentic, genuine moment with somebody, where you have a conversation with them, is the time I feel most alive. I know it sounds stupid. It's not skiing, I've practiced martial arts. I've done so many, I've surfed on the roof of a bus driving up a mountain in India, and very nearly died. Very nearly got twanged off of it by a telegraph wire. And that doesn't compare to those moments where you find what moves people and you talk about it. And I think that idea of, let's say, a life less ordinary or a meaningful existence is part of all of the work that I do. I work with technology, but I'm not really interested in the nitty-gritty of technology. I have to know it because it's my job. What I'm interested in is the way that technology gives us more flow in our work. Things like cameras that you just hit record and the picture looks good, and you get the files and it just plays. That kind of technology I like, and I work with companies developing user interfaces that are intuitive for us as pattern-finding primates. And I think that one of our fundamental human needs is to be a causal agent, to cause change, to be what they call in philosophy a prime mover. And if you want to cause change, then you want to do it as much as possible. And I think film is a fantastic way of doing that. So it's a medium that allows you to channel that change to lots and lots of people. And I think that for me, this goal of making popular films, date movies, that people want to go and see, is an excellent vehicle for you to convey something more subtle. For me, I suppose, what drives me, what inspires me, is, can I create something real for the audience? Can I make something that is, a genuine experience that, I suppose, shares the point of view that I have about life? Ultimately, that's why we make any art, is to communicate something that we hope is a truer truth, something that we understand. And sometimes we're discovering it in the making. And I don't think it's about being arrogant and thinking, I know better than anybody else. It's about finding something beautiful, something true about the human condition, and showing it to people. if you can capture something genuinely human in that way in a film and move people, you change them. And I think that if there's any way that we can define ourselves as beings, it's probably in and around our consciousness. And when you learn through witnessing something like that, I truly believe it changes your consciousness, changes your being. You know, they say you can chop bits of your body off until there's more chopped off than there is left. It's kind of gruesome. But it's a philosophical thing. More of you is removed than remains. But where is the human being? It's still in you. Whatever that is, that's what you try to change with art. The three films are about purpose, morality, and power. First one was about purpose. It's an amoral film about a contract killer who falls in love. And it's called Orpheus Rising. Just to touch on it, the second film, at the moment, is called Light and Dark. And it's an inverted morality vigilante film. Where, as you walk out of the cinema, you'll realize, actually, the good guy was ethically good but morally bad, and the bad guy was ethically bad but morally good. I wonder how I justify my actions. The third film I talk about very little. I don't have a title for it yet. And it's about power, and it's about what power is. What we can meaningfully call power. And the message of the film will be, it's kind of cheesy and philosophical, but the message of the film will be that love as a fundamental force is the only genuine power that there is. But we'll take a journey getting to that conclusion. Orpheus Rising is an Orphic journey. And you can check it out, orpheusrising.com. If you like, the pitch for the film is that the film opens with somebody being murdered in a way that I genuinely believe has never been done in cinema. You've never seen anybody be killed this way. And it's not gruesome, there's no blood, there's very little violence, but it's absolutely terrifying. Psychologically terrifying, but it's also very kind and very dignified. And the very next scene in the film, the guy who does the killing meets a girl. And just by chance, they happen to meet each other, and it's just like that. There you are. I've been waiting all this time, didn't think I was going to meet you, here you are. This is it now. There's no, do I find you attractive, don't I? It's absolutely clear. Everything has to change now, for both of them. And the story is about the impact that love has on their lives, and the way that love is a catalyst for change. It forces you to be yourself, because you can't be dishonest with someone you're genuinely in love with. You can't have pretense, and that forces you to reflect upon who you are generally. And without giving the story away, I'll give you one of the key scenes that sets up the story. Is that he goes to his liaison, the person that brings him his work, and he says, "I'm quitting, I'm done, just so you know, thanks very much, but I don't need the money, obviously, and I'm out." And his liaison, who he thinks is a friend, says, "I don't think you understand the relationship that we have. And if it seems like we're asking, we're not asking. And if you don't do the job that we want you to do, bad things could happen to you and your girlfriend, because you're just not that important. You know, we have things that we need you to do." So he ends up faced with this awful dilemma where he can't live in both worlds, but he has to. He's torn between these two paradigms, and he can't tell her, and he can't not do the work, and he just falls to pieces. And the reason I want him to take this journey is because the film is an Orphic journey. The Orphic journey is the story of Orpheus is that Orpheus goes down to the underworld to get to heaven. There's a gateway to heaven, and psychoanalysts have a concept they call an Orphic journey. And an Orphic journey is one where you go to your lowest point, and at that low point, genuine inner change becomes possible. And so this is the journey he takes. It's the shaman's training ground. You know, they say for someone to become a shaman, they must suffer incredible trauma as a child in order to disconnect them from the illusion, in order for them to see the true truth. You have the same concept in the guru system, in all of the Far Eastern mystical traditions. You even have it in the shamanic, druidic, and Wiccan traditions in the Celtic regions, in Britain, for example. You suffer enormously in order that you disconnect from your identity. And trauma victims get it. So this story is my character, this guy, going right down to his lowest point. And at that low point, he takes a deep breath, he exhales, and he becomes himself.